Hi, everybody. Welcome to Coach Playbook with Paul LaPolice, your home for elite CFL breakdown and analysis. Today, let's look at Dru Brown. Looked at his Week 2 game versus Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Watched all the passes, but I pulled out about 10 for us to look at. So let's open the playbook on Dru Brown. Got my Father's Day slime here, present for my daughter, and it's purple, my favorite color, which is nice, and it's scented, so I got that going for me, scented slime. First of all, please subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on so you get alerted as new stuff comes out. It shows you we're supporting the page. We've done real well in the last couple of weeks. Dru Brown. All right, I was in the stadium watching his game. I thought he managed the game very well. It doesn't mean he didn't take explosive shots. He just didn't have a lot of shot opportunities. He was 20 of 33, 61%, 228 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Sometimes people, he only threw 228, this or that. Where the spaces were in the zone, he threw the ball to the open guys, kept them on the field, and didn't throw interceptions. The biggest thing for the Ottawa REDBLACKS to get better at, to be successful since 2019, they have just been a turnover machine on offense. I was part of that experience. You cannot win football games turning it over offensively. Zach Alaris. Zach had 285 yards. He had 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and that's probably one of the keys to the game. So there's some really good stuff from Dru. Let's take a look at about 10 clips. Watch a TV copy of this first. I believe it's the first, second, and long. Good throw by Dru on an intermediate throw. Get the first down. Braylon Addison, a lot of extra yardage. How did that play out? Let's see what happened. Got him actually to jump, and then he hits this leveled flood into the boundary. So let's explain it and show you what happened here. So I got a pause right here. Here's the coach's copy. And one more pause. I'll show you this. This is the routes being run. All right. They're flooding to the boundary. We'll get into that. And the ball snapped. There goes the waggle and the motion. This is what's called a vertical stretch. 1 deep, second intermediate route, and a third route in the flat. I call these vertical stretches because we're stretching the defense vertically. Now, 1, 2, 3, there's 4 people over here, Coach. How are you stressing the zone? The player I have circled cannot help. He is an inside zone player. He's got to cover the inside quarter of the field. So you really only have technically 2 people with 3 routes, and I'll show you that right here. So the deep zone player is occupied, like I've got written. The low zone player has 2 different receivers. And look at the space between the 2 receivers. Now, he should have gotten a little bit more depth, and that would have made it a tougher throw, but he doesn't, and Addison catches that ball in between the 2. So one more time to see that so you know what happened. Really good. Really good execution of that. Right here, there's the vertical stretch. There's the space, and there's the catch. Dru Brown here, backed up. What do you do? How do you get a nice first down? What do you do? Play action pass, take the one-on-one throw on the outside. Love this. This is nice and easy versus man. For Jalen Ackland, he's off the line of scrimmage right here, and he's waggling, attacking the line of scrimmage. Why? So he can back corner up, attacking these young corners to a pivot, come back to the sideline. Really good execution. Dru's got a nice pocket to throw from. Good stuff. Take a look at it from the coach's angle. This is what you're running for routes here. It's going to be a play action. And like I said, get people running. Get a back pedal. Get them out of their back pedal when they're playing man coverage. I think it's going to be a run play. And again, the DBs have to turn their hips sooner or later. By 15 yards, that guy's going to turn and run. And you have these really deep comebacks at 20 yards. And what's nice about taking the throw, the outside one, there's nobody that can get underneath it, if that makes sense. The inside ones, there's a possibility the linebackers could get underneath it. So you'd rather go outside in when you have these throws. And again, let's look at it in a live. Good pass, good throw, out to the sideline. Another second. This is 2nd and 25, so they have a long way to go. So they're trying to, once again, throw a leveled throw. What's he do? He checks it down to get decent yardage. Doesn't force anything, so I like this on 2nd and 25. All right, takes his drop, tries to see, do I have the shot downfield? No, I'm just going to get what yardage can and add 10 yards to the punt. Now, what was interesting, it's the same route they've run before. So if you remember, that was that out of a bunch, a leveled vertical stretch to the sideline. So let's go ahead and show you what the difference is this time. If you remember, I called this a vertical stretch down on the sideline. Well, if you look at the number 1 spot where you put a deep player, there's a player there. There's a corner. All right. If you look at the number 2 spot, there's another defensive back there. And then if you look at the number 3 spot, there's another defensive back. So they have 3 people kicked to the sideline. So the quarterback can say, I'm not going to be able to throw the ball to the corner route, to the bench. I'm going to have to throw it underneath right there. So that's basically what the quarterback has to process in that amount of time. If you look, he processes it very well as it develops, and he sees all that people covered, and he just throws the check down. Good execution, right? Add to the punt. Add 10 yards to your punt and get off the field. 2nd and 11, another conversion here. They have 3 receivers into the boundary, 2 to the field. So this is what's called a 2-by-3 set. Dru takes a drop, gets a positive read where he's throwing the football. Nice throw outside to Hardy. You can see this. This is what a lot of teams call a bite route. All right, where you start to run a corner and then you bring it back down your stem. Let's go to the sideline and see what they were running here. Okay, with the 3 receivers in the boundary, let me draw it real quick. He was going to go up and in. He was going to start to run a corner, go like this, and then sit it down. And he's going to widen out and run a hitch. So that's the route concept. Now, really the key thing, just like the quarterback should read, is key that player. So if that player expands, you should open up the throw on the inside to Hardy. And that's exactly what happens. He pushes out to 1. And when I say 1, the number 1 receiver. So he starts, this player right here starts to expand. Now Hardy's in a position where nobody can get to him. Wide open throw. All right, so they're doing a really good job. This is what's called match coverage, of hitting basically the curl from number 2 in match coverage, because that's a soft spot in match coverage. We'll do a coach playbook on match down the road, but really good execution. Real quick throw. Get the ball in space and let guys run with it. Dominic Rhymes. See this angle. Nice throw. Let him run with the football. Right? Let's talk about what this concept is. Go to the coach's copy. This is called a BTL. What does a BTL mean? It's called behind the line of scrimmage. So our league has expanded. Our completion percent has gone up so much as a league because we're doing more of these BTLs, which are basically you're throwing the ball behind the line of scrimmage with blockers. They can block immediately because they know the ball's thrown behind the line of scrimmage. You can see the 2 blockers right there. Nice, easy execution of a BTL, behind the line of scrimmage throw. Watching it from the end zone. Is it a run? Not sure. These guys coming back to block. Now the person trying to chase and figure out gets caught looking in the backfield. And now you get the blocks in the perimeter. Nice, easy run for a beat. I'm going to play this one from the wide to start, just to get the coach's copy to let you know what is the quarterback seeing? What does he have to go through? All right, you have 3 receivers to the field with only 2 into the boundary. There is the safety. He's rotated into the 2 receiver side. So if you count him up over to the boundary, with only 2 receivers, you have 3 players over here. If you count the linebacker, there's 4. So what you want to do is throw away from the safety rotation. And understanding to the field that you have 3 receivers, somebody's going to have to be a deep player and somebody's going to have to be a low player. So watch what happens here. I'm going to pause. That's the routes. You're going to have a clear out, a go, and then there's one more route. Let me add this one. A guy up and out. So when the corner falls off into the deep third, If he drops off into the deep third, now you've got an opportunity where one player can't cover both routes, and you'll see that's exactly what happened. Now, why did Dru throw this so quickly? Because he saw the safety rotated weak. He saw the safety started out weak, and he knew he had that configuration, change to drop, throw outside. That's a great 9-yard gain on 1st and 10. Ottawa did a good job of doing one thing. They called the same pass play. And sometimes that's great for the quarterback getting rhythm. Recognize what the defense is doing and throw opposite. So Nick Martiner's first catch, let's go through what happened on that play. This is going to look familiar. They've already run this football play. So there is the corner route, and then what we call the bite route, where they start to run the corner route, and then we stop, and you have a hitch on the outside. Now, I'm going to pause it right before when he's at the top of his drop. He's getting ready to throw. And look, they're now taking away the Justin Hardy route. So that means there's a player in the deep third. The halfback stayed inside, and they've stretched the field horizontally. There's nobody there. So Dru Brown recognizes this and fires the ball outside. Really good. Good execution. Now when you get the ball to space, you get an opportunity to make people miss because there's so much width on the field. For a first catch for Martiner, I believe this came back from a holding call, but I like they called the same play. Good recognition by the quarterback. It's a way to do it. Like the throw and catch here. This is the routes you're going to have. This is what a lot of teams call the stick concept, where the outside receiver goes on a clear out. The inside receiver goes just about 2 to 3 yards, really quickly expanding. And the number 3 receiver, you number receivers outside in. So the number 3 receiver, he runs an 8-yard outbreaking route. And who you trying to put in a bind? That player right there. Does he expand? No. He stays inside, you throw outside. He expands, you throw inside. And that's what happens. See him expanding. And there's the quick, easy throw. And again, you can throw this because the safety he's waiting, but it's just a little bit too short for him. He can come up and make a play on the ball, but it's going to be caught. There's another catch for Braylon Addison. Let's take a look at from the end zone unit. You can see, it's a little bit hard to see. 41's out of the screen, but watch Dru right here. Sees it quickly, ball out. Nice throw and catch. 2nd and 10, big explosive play here for the Red Blacks. Justin Hardy on a quick throw on the outside. How did so much space get created for Hardy to get this big run? Let's take a look at the coach's copy and show you just a simple thing that happens a lot of times to teams in the CFL. Man-to-man coverage. Okay, the closer receivers get to each other, the more they're going to think about banjoing. We've done a coach's playbook on banjoing. So the issue that happens here is if we watch Bonds, the corner, number 24, he starts running inside. And as these two receivers get stacked right next to each other, normally teams are going to switch. And you take the outside one, I'll take the inside one. And then you play that out because you don't get leveraged. Leverage means somebody has an advantage running away from you in a route. But go back, let's start and watch Bonds the whole time. Even they go to a stack, he stays on Jalen Acklin and he jumps inside. So as I play it back a little bit, now I want you to watch number 29, Bridges. He starts to take Jalen Acklin because he's not sure. He thinks they're switching, they're not switching. And now with 24 staying on, Hardy has leveraged because he stayed on. He's now has to fight over the top, and that's the space. And Dru recognizes it and gets the ball out of his hands. And now there's too much space. Now he can make somebody miss, break a tackle, create an explosive play, all because of a nice stack by the Red Blacks in motion. Last one of the night. 2nd and goal from the 2. A little worried about the shotgun, but they got a play action pass here or just a zone read with an option, basically an RPO. Nice throw to Hardy. Throws it right through the goalpost. No concern there. Right, how does Hardy get open? All right, once again, the use of motion helped the Red Blacks man-to-man coverage. Once again, between Ford and Holm on the two receivers. And I'm going to pause it right here. That's where when they come together and they're in a stack and one goes in and one goes out, you have to sort out who has who. They both start covering the outside breaking route, so they don't have great communication. And Hardy goes ahead and gets a touchdown. So, this is a really good game. Dru managed the game well. He didn't throw any interceptions. I thought he threw the open spots. Good first game for him. No turnovers was the big thing. And again, watch what happened here to the top of the screen. I'm going to pause it again, just kind of show you what happens in motion sometimes. Boom, two people take one, leaves another one open. Good recognition by the quarterback and a nice, easy throw. Good start for Dru Brown.